I'm Mark, this is Band Bio. This is the first interview on the show, and because of this bloody lockdown, we've got to do it on Zoom. So tonight we have the hand-me-downs. So guys, would you just want to introduce yourselves, say what your name is and what you do in the band?
Come on, Jimmy, you go first there.
Okay, I'm Jimmy. I play the mandolin badly and sing quite well.
Thanks, Jimmy.
No worries.
Who'd
I'm
like
trying
to
to
go
read
next?
work. I'm trying to read work stuff and talk at the same time.
Oh, you're
Sorry.
in work right now?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
keep it on the down low then. Dwayne, what about yourself?
Yeah, I'm Dwayne. I play drums in the band and do some backing vocals.
Cheers.
Dwayne's,
Hello,
Dwayne's
Dwayne.
Dwayne's our vocal coach.
And I'm not.
Hands down the best backing vocalist we have by a long stretch.
I thought everyone does backing vocals now.
Yeah, just
No.
some of us sing closer to the mic than others.
Sounds
Some
like
of us are allowed to sing closer.
I'm Jamie and I play guitar and I sing far back, distant backing vocals away from the mic.
Okay.
I'm Adam. I play double bass and a wee bit of vocals /
Thanks. Yeah, sorry, it went a bit weird there, but I think it got a bit of rapping there.
a wee bit, yeah. Just when the boys are allowing me to.
Thanks for introducing yourselves. So, the hand-me-downs, where did that name come from?
Whenever we started out, it was a while ago, a totally different lineup, and we're all in different musical projects or bands or affiliated to other acts, I guess. And it was never really supposed to be a gigging band, and so we ended up doing a charity night. We needed a name, and just the hand-me-down seemed appropriate, given the fact that we were all borrowed from something else. So that's where the hand-me-downs was born out of. And then I just thought it was, it's a cool name, so we stuck with it in this case. So that's it really. That's how the hand-me-downs was born.
Nice. So you're saying that you were all part of different bands before?
Yeah.
What kind of band were you in before?
So I still play in I'm Not Maggie, which is a rock and roll band. So that was really that was who I was affiliated to at the time. I think Adam, you can take over from there.
Yeah, I mean, I was approached by Jimmy to join the band, and I was already in a band myself as well, so hence the name. But the way things have gone now, this has become my primary band and has been for the past couple of years. The other band that I'm in, doing less and less, but still do the odd thing. Midnight Graffiti, we do. It's been going quite a long time. It's been going maybe 15 years now. So, but we just we do a lot less than we used to. In comparison to the hand-me-downs, like this year, like we probably have about 30 or 40 gigs in the calendar before the whole coronavirus thing hit. So it's quite busy band, but we wouldn't have it any other way. We love it, like it's the way it should be.
And so how do you guys with kids find it balancing that, doing 40 gigs in a year and still having a family life and doing a job and life as well and all of that?
I'll let you take this one, Jamie.
Yeah, I mean, It's you gotta have an understanding life, you know. But I mean, you don't miss out on much family life whenever you're only leaving the house at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock sometimes, depending on the start time. If it's a local gig, it's sort of you're starting at 11 and finishing at 1, so the missus would normally be off to bed shortly after you leave the house anyway. It's the further away ones that are harder, but listen, we tend not to be out any more than 3 times in a month, you know, so it's totally grand. I mean, for me, I used to play rugby as well, and that had to go then whenever the band was busier. You know, you can't have, definitely if you're in a band like this, you can't have 2 things that are bringing you out of the house, you know. So yeah, I think it's no problem. In fact, you missed it so much over the last few weeks. I mean, it's a big part of what keeps you happy and creative. And,
Yeah.
you know.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I don't think any of us probably realise how much we rely on. Well, and certainly from my perspective, how much we rely on the band to keep us sane or give us an outlet. You know, it's amazing how just getting together with, you know, your 3 of your mates and just having an outlet to just to talk. Sometimes in practice we don't even, you know, we make like 1 song 3 times and that'll be it. And
Don't
we
tell
talk
the
the
wife
rest of the
that.
time, you know. But yeah, don't put that in the video. But it's
So
good
we're
to have an
always
outlet,
busy.
you know. But
What
we
was
all
that,
have
Dwayne?
We're always busy practicing. We don't have time. We don't have time to have crack.
Yeah. But we all have, you know yourself, we all have pressures on our time, you know. But it helps to have an understanding partner or wife, you know.
How would you describe yourselves?
Just taking
Yeah.
that
Yeah,
one.
well, it has to be covers anyway, because generally what we're doing is covers, but we're doing our own version of them, I
Yeah.
suppose.
And that's what I think is really good about you guys, because there's a lot of cover bands out there that do just the kind of standard, straight up version of songs, but you kind of change things a little bit and make them your own. Have you got
Exactly.
like a process for picking songs to adapt, or is there a method to it, or how does it work?
It's different for every song, really. Like, the amount of songs you start and you practice for a few weeks and just doesn't work and you just drop them. We'll just fire in songs at each other. If everybody likes them, then we give it a crack, and if it works out, it works out. You know, like even, well, you know, the most recent song I've learned is probably Someday by The Strokes, and that was kind of just like having a chat in the garage, and then I think one of us had seen a video of an acoustic cover, and we listened to that and we go, "Gee, that's really cool. We could do a really good version of like the first half of it stripped back, just acoustic and Jimmy's vocal, and then kick in with almost like a straight cover." And it's just kind of like mixing things up. You see a wee bit of something here, a wee bit of something there, and then we can just. The beauty of being in a band like this is that we kind of have complete creative freedom. You know, we're not playing to click tracks, we're not playing to backing tracks. We can do whatever we want. So it's really just down to us, you know, how we want to change that song within it. And oftentimes it'll take like 3 months before we even get happy with, okay, let's do it this way, and then we'll take this in this direction. And, you know, it's a bit harder work, but it's so much more rewarding whenever you play songs and you feel like almost like they're your own, even though they're covers, you know.
Yeah, well, you definitely make them your own. And do you find that people, like the audience, enjoy the adaptations to the songs? Do they recognize them?
think it can be very hit and miss sometimes, you know. Sometimes it, sometimes what I explore, what we expect to go down well doesn't, and what we don't think is going to go down well does, you know. It's a hard one. Gigs are, and then every gig's so different as well. But I think the thing that we pride ourselves on is the work we put in to making something sound good, you know. And if we're happy with it a lot of the time, you do find that the crowd, you know, eventually they mightn't get it for 10 or 15 songs, and then eventually they'll be like, oh, this is what these boys are doing. This is what they're at. You know, it's kind of like the penny drops with them halfway through a show sometimes. And but sometimes it can take that, and especially in a new venue. I think a lot of times, like, we'll rock up to a place and they'll see Adam's double bass and an acoustic guitar and a mandolin, and they'll expect a certain kind of music. They'll expect like the Whistling Donkeys or that, and then we'll play, I don't know, Kanye West song or Sia or something, and the crowd will be looking at you as if you've got two heads, you know. But eventually they'll get on board with it, and those are always the good nights for me, where you can completely change an audience's mindset or how they feel about what they're listening to, you know. I don't know if that answers your question or not, or if I was just waffling, sorry.
No, absolutely. That's great. I'm glad the audience actually like the songs that you're playing. That's a good start, isn't it?
Yeah. It's as much about it's as much for us about choosing the right gigs as well, you know, because we're not we don't chase gigs, you know, and if the right ones come up, then we can take them, you know. We try our hand at everything, really. We'll try any gig once, but we know what sort of band we are, you know, and we know what sort of gigs suit us. So we try our best just to put ourselves in a position where we're hitting our target market, you know. And there's definitely areas, you know, around Ireland that, you know their music more, or they're more discerning crowd, and that we always seem to go down well with people who have sort of an eclectic mix on what songs they like. Whereas some places you go, if you're not playing country, they're not interested, you know.
So you don't play country, straight up, no country.
Well,
no, we do. We've got a couple of country songs.
A couple.
We let
Just a couple.
Wayne decide them. He's our country expert.
We have to try and please the Fermanagh crowd as well, so you need one or two country songs, but you know, you have to limit it to that. You can't get carried away. You have to remember what you're trying to achieve at the same time, you know what I mean? You're not there to please everybody. But I mean, our set's pretty diverse, you know what I mean? If there's not something for everyone, it's a hard crowd.
I get you. So Adam, you play the double bass.
That's right.
Has that always been a thing, or did you used to play like a normal bass before that?
Certainly not. No, I started off playing, believe it or not, brass music when I was a kid, and learned music through that way, through nearly being forced through like family. Just you gotta play this trumpet, where you go, learn the notes. And that's why I'm so thankful for that now, because actually I learned music and built it up from there. So then I think it was in around my 13th birthday, I got a bass guitar because some of the guys in the school were like starting a band, so that's how I started playing bass, because I needed a bass player. And then probably about 6 or 7 years ago now, I got my hands on a double bass. I've always wanted to play one. I've got no professional training whatsoever. I've taught myself from start to finish. I think that's the best way. Like a lot of YouTube videos, and even getting the thing set up. You're supposed to get it set up professionally. I just did it all myself. And I think it's probably the best way to do it, because there's nobody really locally around here who would maybe teach you as well. You probably have to go to Belfast. Like being out in the sticks, you sort of have to fend for yourself. And that's kind of what the Hammy Night's all about. It's all sort of DIY, do it yourself, you know, see what it sounds like, try this, try that. So I think that in that way, in that sense, the double bass works very well with the band. I think if I brought a bass guitar into it just wouldn't be the same. That would be the easy option, if you know what I mean. There's been gigs before I've been really tempted to just plug in the bass guitar, but it kind of feels like we're selling ourselves short then by doing that.
Yeah.
But we kind of compromise our sound a bit. So I'm in it for the long haul with a little bass. I wouldn't, to be honest, when you play the lower notes, it just sounds like nothing else. Like no bass guitar could ever replicate that. So it's definitely in it for the long haul with double bass now. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, it definitely sounds great, and it's a great look as well. I can't imagine it's something to carry around the place though.
It's not as heavy as it looks. To be honest with you, it's just cumbersome. It's just a bit awkward, but you get used to that again. It's like anything else. Like I think probably the hardest thing to carry about in the band is the PA system. But it's all hands on deck whenever you're loading into a venue. Like everybody does their bit. It's not just one person. You know what I mean? So it's I mean to be honest, double bass is one of the lighter things to carry. It's just the size of it. It's hollow, so it maybe looks a bit heavier than it is.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, it definitely sounds like the DIY ethos. You're bringing in the PA system and all of the instruments as well, so it really is.
Yeah, I mean,
within the unit.
Yeah, we are like we do everything from we turn up at a venue. Everything is the four of us. We try to figure out the sound, try to get the whole get everything set up. It's all done between the four of us. There's nobody really coming from the outside helping us. We'd love somebody to do that, but at the same time, it's kind of like a gang between the four of us. We just sort of try to fix everything ourselves and do everything ourselves, you know. And every venue we've played in, we've always got the band sounding decent. At least at the end of the night, maybe at the start of the night it takes a while to get things going, but at least at the end of the night it sounds decent, in our opinion.
That's great. So, do you all have the same musical influences, or is it quite an eclectic kind of group of influences?
I think I suppose everyone's got their own answer to this. But I grew up in the Britpop era, sort of, and then my older sister is a year older than me, was a massive Blur fan, so that's what they were kind of the first band that I properly listened to myself. And then the first era of music that I sort of owned myself was like the new wave of like indie bands from America, so like the Strokes and the White Stripes and the early Kings of Leon. So that was kind of like my first love. I still would cite the Strokes as being my favorite band of all time. So so that's kind of where my musical influences are. That's the bands that were big whenever I started playing in bands, you know. So I guess everyone's got their own sort of answer to that, but that's where I sort of hail from.
Same time, I'd say there's a lot of artists who will cross over between the four of us as well. You know, we all do like our indie rock to a certain extent. Like Kings of Leon, I'd say the four of us would be big fans of. Like that would be the big one that we're all. Anytime we play fans, it's like one of the biggest covers we do. It hasn't been removed from the set. You know, we always love playing that one. But everybody's got their own taste. Me personally, like I would always be into ska. I'm always trying to force the ska side of things into the band, trying to get that vibe in. But we have a few ska numbers, but there's always room for more, in my opinion.
Class. Does anybody have any other different influences?
I probably have the least interesting sort of musical interest. I like these other boys all have like they know lots of songs. The amount of times they put in a song and they're like, "Oh, we should do this song," and they're like, "It's a cracking song." I'm like, "Let's go and look it up." I've never heard that song before.
So you get an education in this band as well, then you learn a lot.
Absolutely, it's definitely made me a better musician. I've gone from crap to okay.
Who told you you're okay?
I know. Hey, don't beat yourself up too much, man. I grew up just listening to a lot of acoustic singer-songwriter stuff, Damien Rice, and then on the other side of things, just like came up through the pop punk, you know, Sum 41, Blink-182, just that sort of. I suppose I've always just been. It's kind of poppy music, you know. It's kind of easy to listen to.
You can definitely tell that pop punk energy comes across when you're playing with Hamilton. You get it from them. It's totally, definitely an influence for our
Yeah, I just try to be enthusiastic. But yeah, so I grew up listening to that, and then, like Jimmy, the indie wave came when I was about 18 or 19. You know, the Killers and all that indie stuff. And again, I just kind of listen to bands and acoustic music, you know, and I don't really listen to anything pre 2000. Nothing old at all. So all the old stuff that Dwayne and I are probably the opposite ends of the musical spectrum. He likes all the old stuff.
I was just going to say, strap yourself in for Dwayne's answer, because he has got the most eclectic musical taste.
The most
I'm
interesting.
thinking like rave Dwayne, no?
At one stage, it used to be hardcore. No, to be honest, growing up was like, well, Jimmy, it was the Britpop era. I loved Oasis, Supergrass, all of that sort of stuff. But for me, it could go back to anything from the 50s up. I listened to any genre, any decade. Love the 80s, love the 70s, love all that stuff, you know what I mean? And to me, good music's good. It doesn't matter what genre it falls into or whatever. If it's good, it's good. It could be dance, it could be jazz, it could be pop, it could be whatever. But good music's good, you know what I mean? And that's it.
Dwayne posted this link on our band WhatsApp about a week ago, and I can't even remember what it was. It was the one that it felt like it was in your head, you know?
Oh, that's that 8D thing.
It was sorry, I didn't mean to swear. It was the weirdest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's right.
And only Dwayne could have found that, you know. Like, no one else could have found that.
Polyphonics, but it's some group. I can't remember what you call them, but it's amazing. It's amazing, the technology to listen to, but you have to listen to it through headphones. But phenomenal stuff.
Jamie, send it on to Mark so we can hear it whenever you.
I will do, yeah. It's funny though, like knowing the boys and what sort of the musical background. It's kind of, I think we're all kind of characterized by what the music that we have listened to, you know, because you know, Dwayne's drumming to be like pockets drumming, steady, lovely little fills, you know, kind of R&B, sort of gospel sort of feel to it, and then the back and the harmonies, like you grown up listening to a lot of Eagles, wouldn't you, Dwayne?
Yeah. Listen to a lot of groups like that with solid harmonies and with good stuff like that, you know. So that's where you kind of pick then when there's no harmonies, and you need that in a band. So
like that's a massive thing for us. Like Dwayne will just sit and he'll lay out the 4 parts, and then we'll just learn them, you know. And so it's great to have that, and that's from his background. And then Adam loving his ska, like you can really see the way he plays the bass, like running around the fretboard. He's got lots of energy, you know. And then Jimmy's just a wee indie front man, isn't he? Lots of energy and swagger, and it's brilliant. I love it.
You've got the attitude. It's good.
You have plenty of energy yourself.
It's that's all smoke and mirrors, isn't
it? You nearly need to be chained down to the one spot.
I'd say you need a lot of energy, because your gigs are like an hour and a half, 2 hours long, aren't they?
Yeah, totally.
2 hours.
You definitely need someone out the front with lots of energy, and Jimmy has lots of energy, but Jamie has about 3 times as much. It must be from playing rugby for years. He has all that built up energy inside.
But
well, it's a good way to let it out then.
Exactly.
No, yeah. It's funny though, because whenever, you know, when I was much younger, like I think I'm Not Maggie were the first live band I ever saw. When I was about 14. When I was about 14, and I remember seeing I'm Not Maggie, and they were like really doing lots of indie stuff at that stage. And I was only, how old are you, Jim? You're 4 years older than me? 5, 4?
So I'm 38, so.
Yeah, 4 years. So you were 18 or out, and I was a cub, and I just remember thinking, he's the coolest person I've ever seen.
I'm blushing.
And then I got to know him, so.
That was before you met me.
Well, Dwayne was actually in that band as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, listen, who knows?
No, it
Yeah,
must
you
have
were
been Conley because you'd remember me.
Dwayne, this is the thing. Every picture, every photograph we have a gig, we're just a 3-piece. Dwayne's always, no one ever takes a picture of the drummer.
No.
It's hilarious.
So you say, obviously you say you play loads of gigs, like 40 gigs a year. Like, what's been your favorite gig to play?
Ooh.
Mine's a wedding. Mine was definitely that time down at a
Operas.
Opera
Head.
or Opera Head, wherever. That was unreal.
No, it was
What
cool,
was,
that
what
one.
was so good about it?
Kane Egan was there and we made him dance.
It was such a loose wedding. Hey, it was unreal. It was in a big marquee, but it was open onto the seafront, and there wasn't a breeze, and it was just such a good crowd. You know, they really got us. Just what we were trying to achieve and everything about them. It was such a cool wedding.
Yeah, we've done a couple of really smashing weddings where it's been like everybody there has been kind of 30s to 40s. You know, that'll be our kind of target market, and they like their music, and they've just danced from first song to last song. It's just been mayhem. Those are hard to beat because you've got 100, 150 people just going mad in the room. It's brilliant. You know, oftentimes the pub gigs are fantastic too, and that's probably our natural habitat. But like Jimmy says, sometimes it might take 45 minutes to get them warmed up. So in terms of like all energy, all go, some of those if you get the right wedding, it's brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
We did another one up in Belfast and Deans and Queens, and it was
fine.
Great wedding. I think my favourite was probably Crumb last year.
Oh yeah.
I think that was probably the band at its best, or the best so far. Still don't think we're quite there yet, but I think that's probably the tightest we've been. We were also really, really loose, if that makes sense. We were relaxed. We'd all had a few beers. There was no real pressure on. It was a nice sunny day. Just a real nice feel to it. Sort of, to me, it kind of epitomised what the band's about almost. You know, it sounded good, but we were still, you know, we were all very much in the gig, but still enjoying ourselves, and the crowd were great that night as well. So it, coupled with the sunshine and Fermanagh and the surroundings and the band sounding as good as it was, probably that was probably my favourite gig so far. So hopefully we get to do it again this year at the start of July. It's fingers crossed we'll be back at it by then.
Well, hopefully this time will have passed by then.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I mean, just thinking about that, are you? I know you're saying you can't meet to practice anymore. Are you doing anything to stay together as a band or anything during this isolation time?
Well, this is the first time we've actually been in kind of like in a room together for the first time in about 4 or 5 weeks, even though it's over friggin' Zoom. But you know, what can you do? I mean, it's very tough for everybody. Anybody that's in the band have been trying to do practice on their own, but it's just not the same. Like I've been even forced to go and learn some skills which I've never done before. But it's keeping me active. It's keeping me. If I stop playing bass even for a couple of weeks, you start to lose the muscle. It's hard to get that back, and even the calluses on the fingers. The guitarist will tell you as well. Anybody that plays the strings, and if you give it up for any length of time, it's so hard to get back into the groove of it. And to come in then in the start of summer, hopefully we'll be back gigging, to go and do a 2-hour gig, you'd be a broken man. You haven't kept some going. You know, ask me personally, try to do something like maybe half an hour
But
every
my
day at least.
phone's
You
ringing
know,
up.
something.
To do a half an hour a day at least. Keep yourself in
Yeah,
it.
just try to do something. Yeah, to keep the thing going. Yeah, just and sometimes in some days it's easier than others, and then other days you're kind of forcing yourself to do it because you know it's for the benefit of the long term. But then other days it's easier. It's just you can't wait to pick it up and play along with something, or you know, play some scale, play some of the old songs that we were doing as a band maybe a month ago. You know, just going over old stuff.
Great. So I'm just thinking, if you had the chance to open for any band in the world, who would it be?
Oh.
Yeah, that's a brilliant question.
You'd want a crowd that were going to get us as well, not just necessarily being selfish and picking a band that we all love. You'd want a crowd that would understand what we're doing too.
To do something like that would be cool. So, Old Crow Medicine show for me, I think.
Nice. Is everyone in agreement then?
Yeah, I suppose it would have to be something acoustic along those lines anyway. So I'd probably be happy enough with that.
I'd love to support like somebody like Toots and the Maytals, or there's a band called Bed and Sound Clash as well. Like somebody like that there would be similar sort of vibe to us, you know, or somebody, again, as Jimmy was saying, acoustically but folk orientated, like Mumford and Sons. You know, that sort of vibe, you know, sort of a laid back kind of style. We're not talking like hard rock here. It's got to be laid back, sort of folky or ska. You know, something you can imagine yourself lying back in the sunshine drinking a beer to. You know, and those kind of bands, I think we would fit in well. I think we would be a good addition to the supporting slot.
And so, I mean, how many songs do you have on your set list? Must be a good 20, 30 songs or something.
We play about 33, don't we, on a given night? And then
33.
Then we've about 40 to choose from, don't we? Drop about 6 or 7.
Maybe more.
So do you have a favourite song to play at all?
Everyone's going to have a different answer to this, for sure, I would say.
Well, my favourite would be either Fans. I just love the rhythm of that, rhythm of King's Leon, and or Begging by Madcon.
Nice.
Or just whatever the newest song that we've learned, really. You know, the freshest one. But yeah, I like those sort of Fans is real sort of loose and real fun to play. And then like Begging's real upbeat. It's good fun to play too.
Put your loving hands up, baby, but I'm begging. So hard to be the man, kind of man you wanna be. Can I begin to live again? An empty ship I used to be. Shadow of my life is hanging over me. A broken man, and I don't know. Can't even stand the devil dancing with my soul.
King's stuff. So you're obviously a really close-knit group. I can see the banter going on here and the energy between you all. So let's ask some cutting questions. Who's the funniest out of the band?
Dwayne.
Funniest or funniest looking?
Well, you choose. You choose.
We'll go with funniest.
They're all funny. They're all funny boys, but Dwayne's the funniest.
Yeah.
Does that mean, Dwayne, do you cracking jokes all the time, or is it just, just yourself being funny?
It must just be something about me. I try not to be funny, but I can't help it.
So who's the least organised then?
Oh, that'll be me. That's definitely me. 100%. I'm the one that forgets stuff at gigs, or get to do something that I've said or done. So that's probably me. But I have a lot going on, so I have an excuse.
Well, at least you're owning it. That's the main thing. So who's the most talented?
Adam. No, Dwayne.
Not a chance.
Adam.
Not a
Or
chance.
Jamie, not me.
It's not me. Definitely not me.
I don't know.
Everyone's
It's a
so
hard one.
modest.
That's a hard one. I think it's hard. I think we all bring everything to the table. Something to the table. I think we're equal parts. Without each other, we wouldn't be the band we are.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Talent's hard to measure, I guess. But I'm going to give him a big head here. But I've played with a lot of drummers in my time. I would definitely say Dwayne's the best drummer I've ever played with. So.
That's lovely, Tim. Thanks.
No worries.
I think, I think talent, as you say, it's subjective, but like Jimmy's vocal, I mean,
Yeah, it's solid.
unbelievable. And then Adam was saying there, he just picked up the double bass, and it makes it sound as if he's just hitting root notes or something, but you've never seen anybody run around a fretboard like it. I know there's no frets on it, but and then like Jimmy says, Dwayne's drumming's unreal, and then add to that the way he can sing, it's crazy.
But I do think a lot of our stuff is heavily bass influenced, so you need somebody who can play bass, who can get round it fast, and who just, Adam makes it look easy, and that it's not an easy thing to do, play the double bass, because any of them Monkey Man or ska tunes, something that's fast, you watch him going up and down that neck, it can't be easy. I don't know how he does it.
It's tight going, I'll tell you that much, but it's just because I've got just a natural eagerness to learn, and to be honest with you, I don't even think I'm doing a good job. Like most of the time, I'm missing notes, but the thing is, you're going so fast, nobody can tell.
So that's why everything's so fast then. Okay, now I know the secret.
That's it.
That's the key.
Double time.
Well, guys, I think we're going to come to an end here. I think Jimmy's working here. We might need to let him get back to work. Obviously, everything's kind of up in the air at the minute. Did you have any gigs booked in before all of this happened? Have you got any? What I'm trying to ask is, do you have any gigs coming up that you think might still be happening, or is it still up in the air?
Yeah, so we're kind of fast forwarding now to July, really, because everything in between everything was booked originally is gone.
Yeah.
But we're speaking with people, and we've got gigs booked with in July, and they're positive about it still going ahead. So Jimmy's favorite gig last year was a place called Promise Faith, and I think it's probably all our favorite gig of the year. One of the biggest highlights for us is an open air gig out on the Fermanagh Lake Shore, and we put it on. It's this year. It's on the 4th of July. So hopefully that'll go ahead for us this year. But we're going to make a decision come June time. So we've got our place to make a decision then. So that's one of the biggest highlights for us.
Well, fingers crossed we're out of this situation and we can go and enjoy it, hopefully. So, guys, if people want to get in touch with you, find out more about you, what's the best place to find you online?
Probably just a Facebook page or Instagram, or we have a YouTube channel as well, so we give people a flavour of what we're about. But yeah, Instagram or Facebook. So we're at the _hand-me-downs on Instagram, isn't that right, Adam?
That's right, yeah.
And if you just search for the hand-me-downs on Facebook, they'll see our logo, our yellow and black logo. And that's probably the best avenue to get in touch with us.
Have you got anything to say to anyone in this time before we go?
I guess look out for our wee feature that we're doing, our wee series, hand-me-downs in their house.
Yeah.
Our isolation series. I believe Adam is going to try a wee video this week.
Yes, I'm trying a little something to make it all laugh. Hopefully this weekend. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like I don't know what you'll make of it, but like we'll stick it up there for everybody else to laugh at anyway. That's
It'd be amazing.
What was the idea of the whole thing? They give
Just-
these times, and it's just like,
Yeah.
what are you supposed to do? You're stuck at home. Try and do something funny.
Yeah, and even just the backstory to that was is it New Year's? Every New Year.
Yeah,
we
New
do-
Year's Day. Normally we put it up, don't we?
Yeah, we do a competition where people just like or share the post, and then we pick a winner at random, and then we do a free gig in their house for them. So it's called the Hand-me-downs in your house. Adam came up with that idea, I suppose, because we're an acoustic band, we can go anywhere and play anywhere. So we like to do fun things, and some of those gigs have been cracking as well, to be fair. Even some of our favourite gigs. So then Adam came up with the idea of hand-me-downs in their house, so because we're all stuck in our houses. So yeah, Jimmy's one went down well with the kiddies.
Yeah, it's funny. Like the kids kind of stole the show on that one.
Yeah, they looked like they enjoyed it, but you didn't have a Pepper Pig song for them to play at the end, no?
I'm learning one. I have to learn one because he's torturing me. He's torturing me every time I pick up a guitar, play me a Pepper song. So I'm gonna have to learn one. So yeah.
We should totally learn the Hey Dougie theme tune.
That's some serious musicianship going on there, though, when you listen
It's
to
funky,
it.
isn't it? A lot of mandolin activity in that.
Yeah, and that's well out of my league, anyway.
So we've got. Did you say this weekend, Adam, that you're going to do the episode of the Hand-me-downs?
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say what it is because it'll ruin the surprise for everybody.
Can't wait. Thanks, guys, for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
And
Thanks for
chatting.
having us.
Best of luck with everything. Hopefully, you get out to play again soon. And take care of yourself.
You too, man. Stay safe, everyone.
Cheers.
Cheers,
See ya.
Mark.
Bye.
See ya.
Yeah.
Bye.